Hi folks, I have your latest home prices and insights for Vaughan and Richmond Hill for week ending March 31st. Before I get into the data though, I do want to address some of the comments that you folks are leaving on my YouTube channel here. I do this report for Vaughan and Richmond Hill, and I also do for the City of Toronto on another video. Hopefully you're checking that out also. Now some of the comments are kind of geared towards me being the big bad wolf. You know, the market that we're in, I got to tell you what I believe. Well, the fact is that I'm not the big bad wolf and I'm not the one creating this market. But personally, I do believe these numbers are unsustainable. Prices, especially for detached semis in towns, prices sitting at where they are, they can't keep going up a 50,000, 100,000 every couple of weeks. It's just unsustainable. I know that interest rates right now being as low as they are is a big factor here in fueling this. I don't expect interest rates to stay at the all-time low that we're having right now. At some point, interest rates are going to go up. I know that at some point, the government's going to jump in. I feel it. I know it. I expect the government to jump in and to do something if the market doesn't calm down on its own. And is that going to be good news or bad news? Well, it depends. I know that the world is in a financial crisis. Never mind a pandemic. We know that the world is in a health crisis, but the world is in a financial crisis right now. Every country seems to be in a situation that they've ran out of money and they're just printing more to keep things going. So at some point, we're going to get to the end of this road and some things are going to happen. Now, is it next month? Probably not. Is it in 6 months? Probably not, but we don't know when. It could be a year or two from now. Do I expect prices to adjust? Yes. But I'll tell you what else I expect. I expect them to adjust again and go up once again. If history has taught us anything, that even with now this is just for Vaughan, detached prices, I've got 20 years here. You know, in 2017, we had an average price of over 1.4 mil. The market was similar to now, extremely heated, running away, multiple offers left, right, and center. And the government came in with their 16 market calming conditions or 16 market calming steps, the foreign tax buyer, all these things. And then in September, in January the following year, the beginning of 2018, the federal government came in with their stress test. And you know what? Calm things down. Prices came down a bit. And they stayed a little bit lower for a while, and then boom, they're back up again for 2020. They went back up to where they were before, and now they're just again running away like crazy. So I believe if you hold on and you wait, prices will come back. I believe if you're buying in this market, it's a challenge. It's a struggle. You are paying, and it's difficult to comprehend. You are paying more than a similar house sold sometimes just as early as a week ago, and there's no justification. It's hard to understand, why should I pay $100,000 more? But people are doing it. And if you don't pay, could be $100,000 more a week later. Now, you don't have to buy. You could wait it out. You can wait for something to change, for interest rates to go up, for prices to come down, but now your interest rates are higher. It's a balancing act. That's what I believe in. It's a very challenging market to buy in. And because of that, and I stress this in almost every video, you really should be working with a professional realtor to help you navigate if you're looking to buy, so you don't, way overpay, or even just be in a position to buy the house you want to buy. And if you're selling, you could maximize working with the right realtor, maximize the sale price, because, good market, bad market, well, that's very relative to what you're doing. But for most people that are looking to buy, it's a very challenging market. Let's get into the numbers. Okay, so I've got Vaughan detached here. Sales dropped. We sold 66 Vaughan detached properties last week, and coming way down are the amount of properties selling at $2 million or more. So we only sold 5 last week, where the previous few weeks were sitting at 17 and 14. Average sold price went up by a little bit. We're at $1,631,000, which I got to tell you is a little bit, a little bit strange. The fact that so many more properties were sold the previous week at $2 million or more. We only sold 5 this week, and average sold price still went up. So I would have expected average sold price to come down because of the fact that so many fewer homes are sold at $2 million or more. But sales did come down a bit to 66. Overall, like I said, average sold price sitting at $1,631,000, and anywhere you look at 2021, way higher than where we were last year. And this is the challenge, that prices keep going up aggressively very quickly. This is compared to last year. Now, the blue are last year's average sold prices. It's really doesn't make too much sense to compare it to last year, because we're well within our first lockdown last year, and sales activity came to a grinding halt. The first properties that came off the market were the luxury properties, and it's evident here. Last year, for this week, we sold no properties at $2 million or more. This year we sold 5, which is not a lot, but we sold 5 compared to 0 last year at the same time. Looking at sales, well, the blue are last year's numbers. We're well into the first lockdown. We only sold 9 detached homes last year. This year, 66. Now, 3/4 of those, 77%, sold at list price or more. Here's where, it's a challenge buying out there. It's a challenge because you're competing, but it's also a challenge justifying in your head, should I be spending so much more in a similar house versus last year? Or versus a home that sold last week even, never mind a year ago. Looking at listings, we listed a little bit less than the previous week. Last year, we only listed 37. Fewer homes are coming on the market during our first lockdown. This year at this time, we listed 128 of those. And months of inventory is sitting at 0.1. And we haven't seen 0.1 since the first week of February, actually. But we were hovering around 0.9. Last week dropped to 0.6. Now we're up to 1 month of inventory, still extremely low. Sellers are in charge. It's very much a seller's market. Looking at Richmond Hill detached, average sold price is just under 1.8. It did come down a little bit from where we were the previous week. Sales also dropped for Richmond Hill. So detached sales dropped for Vaughan, dropped for Richmond Hill, and also the amount of detached selling at $2 million or more dropped in Richmond Hill. So Vaughan and Richmond Hill behaving very similar there. Looking at compared to last year, we only sold 2 at $2 million. We're well into our first lockdown. This year we sold 12. We can see of the 45 detached that were sold, 69% sold at list price or more. Listings are down slightly from the previous week, and months of inventory is climbed up to 1.4. So for Vaughan detached, months of inventory came up slightly. For Richmond Hill detached, months of inventory has come up slightly. Now normally when months of inventory go up, prices tend to come down. In Vaughan, it kind of happened the opposite. Price went up a little bit, but that's, sometimes it's not an exact science. Sometimes there's a week or so delay. Let's look at condos. Sales came down a little bit, which sales should be going up. From week to week, it could fluctuate a bit, but overall sales should be going up. But for condos, they've come down now 3 weeks in a row. Average sold price is up just slightly, a little over $2,000 to $632,000 is what the average condo sold in Vaughan last week. And again, comparing to last year, very difficult to do. But for most of this year so far, Average sold price has been very similar to where prices were a year ago. Sales of the 24 that were sold, 46% sold at list price or more. So there's a lot less competition in condos in Vaughan than say in the city of Toronto. So if you're looking for a little bit of relief and you want to get away from the competition and you're okay buying outside of Toronto, Vaughan is a great spot to be looking at. You're not competing as much. And of 37 were listed, which is kind of a little bit higher just by a few from the previous week. Months of inventory is still sitting extremely low at 0.7 months of inventory. And you can kind of, you see 0.7 and 0.6 months of inventory over the last few weeks. And it's kind of keeping prices pretty steady there, around $600, a little over $600,000. Looking at Richmond Hill, well, condo prices, although sales are very similar, down by 1, and it's been very similar sales over the last few weeks, selling around 20 every single week. Average sold price has been steadily increasing for Vaughan condos to where last week the average sold price was $628,000. Compared to last year, well, there were neither of those 2 weeks last year or this year did we sell any of the Richmond Hill condos at $1 million or more. Sales of the 19 that were sold, 84% sold at list price or more, and that can help understand why prices are going up. There's lots of competition for Richmond Hill condos. Listings are down slightly from the previous week, and compared to last year, we're actually listing less condos than we listed last year at this time. And months of inventory is sitting at 0.3, extremely low. It's like there's no condos in Richmond Hill available to buy, and that's going to keep prices high and is going to keep prices climbing. My name is Santo Sessa with RE/MAX Premier. Subscribe below, hit the bell button so you're reminded when these come up. If we could help you in any buying or selling transaction, please give us a call. We'd love to help. Have a great day.